Hi everybody, Rabbi Reuven Kigel from EMET Outreach. So today we're talking about Moshe Rabenu, Moshe, our rabbi, our teacher, and the leader, the greatest leader the Jewish people ever had. So now, the Torah in its brilliance only slightly hints to what made Moshe Rabenu worthy of being the leader of the Jewish people. And we're going to discuss the things that made him be that leader and see if we can apply it to our own lives. So the Torah very concisely discusses Moshe's life when he was younger, and all of a sudden then he sort of comes in on the scene with Hashem talking to him at the burning bush, and then the next 3 books of the Torah, the next 4 books of the Torah actually, are all devoted to Moshe Rabbeinu talking to the Jewish people and talking to Hashem and bringing everything to the Jewish people and bringing the Jewish people out of Egypt. So now, what made him this leader? What were his quality traits? So let's take a look. This week's Torah portion, Shmos, we see that Moshe Rabbeinu, when he sees a non-Jew being mean to Jews, he sees a non-Jew being mean to Jews, that's an injustice. So he can't stand for such an injustice. So he does what he has to do, even saying some words that killed the non-Jew in order to protect the Jew. Now, a couple days later, Moshe Rabbeinu goes back to the fields where the Jews are working, and he sees 2 Jews being mean to one each other. So what does he do? He immediately stands up for the person who is being sort of taken advantage of. Why? Because as a leader, not only are you going to stand up when other outside people are harming your people, but also even when there's infighting amongst your own people, you will stand up and fight for justice in that situation also. Now, this is very, very hard to do because, as we know, when there's infighting amongst our own and then you get in the middle of it, no one likes you. And as a leader, you have to be willing. You have to be willing to sometimes ruffle some feathers, sometimes have people not think so highly of you in order for you to do the right thing. So that was the second incident, that even when there was fighting amongst Jews, our leader, Moshe Rabbeinu, was able to say, you know what, this one is right, this one's wrong, and I have to stand up for justice, even if it's amongst our own people. The next incident, we see Jethro's daughters who are being mistreated by some random shepherds. Now, neither one of these people Moshe Rabbeinu knew, and at the same time he realized, you know what, there's an injustice here, and strong men are trying to overcome young, weaker ladies. Cannot be. So he stood up for that incident as well. And then finally, the Midrash tells us that how did Moshe Rabbeinu even get to the burning bush where Hashem spoke to him? Well, one of his sheep that he was guarding in the flock ran away. And he saw this little sheep ran away. And he realized, oh, the sheep just needs some water, and he went to catch the sheep. So even in relating to non-human beings, a sheep, he doesn't say, oh, whatever, it's a sheep, we can lose it. He cares about every single thing, every single animal or human being that he is in charge of. So what does it take to be a great leader? First of all, if anyone's coming against your people, you have to stand up for them. You have to stand up for your people. If your people are fighting amongst each other, you have to say who's right. You have to be able to take a stance, even though it's going to be painful and it's going to cause definitely a lot of backlash. And when even people who are not so related to you, who you don't even know so well, if you see any injustice, you have to stand up and make sure that the strong do not take advantage of the weak. And finally, even when you see animals, non-humans, and they need something, you have to be willing to do everything you can in order to help them out. And that's what it takes to be a great leader. It's not enough just to say, oh, I'm worried about my own family, or I'm just worried about, oh, those outside people. To be a great leader, you need to be worried about the outside people, your own family, and even non-human beings, because we are all Hashem's creations. Have a great Shabbos.